and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share with you guys my review and some swatches of the Makeup Revolution Fortune Favors the Brave palette that I picked up a few weeks ago that I've been trying. I did purchase this from the Makeup Revolution website. I can't remember if one of my subscribers mentioned that they finally saw it at Ulta or something like that, but all I know is I did pick mine up directly from the Makeup Revolution website, and there's a little button at the top where you can change the currency to see what it is and, you know, whatever currency you need. Obviously for me it was USD, so I think in British pound it was like $9.99 or something like that. So in USD it was $15.33, and then I can't remember off the top of my head. I will leave the final price in the description box, but I want to say with like tax and shipping and things like that it was like $25 or $28, something like that. So if they do have it in stores, I would definitely pick it up in stores so you can save money on that, you know, currency translation cost and like shipping and things like that. So this is what the palette looks like. It's very different than any other Makeup Revolution palette that I have. Usually it's just like the very simple black plastic packaging, and this is kind of like a 10 kind of packaging, and it is gold, and it says Makeup Revolution in the name of the palette, and then on the back it just tells you the ingredients and things like that. So let me show you what the actual palette looks like. This is what it looks like. You do get a really big mirror. I'm going to pull out the little brush that comes with it, which is pretty much pointless. Like that is like, it's a pretty like horrible brush. It's something you would find in like a $2 little eyeshadow type of thing. Really bad, but we're gonna ignore that because you do get 30 shades, a mix of shimmers and mattes, and then these like really cool marbleized eyeshadows. So let me zoom you guys up close so you can see. So here's what the palette looks like up close. You can see how some of them are marbled and have different finishes and multiple colors in there. They're really cool. So like I said, you get a total of 30 shades in here with a mixture, and I'm not going to swatch all of them because honestly it's going to take forever. But I'm going to swatch for you guys some of the really cool shades. One of the things that I think is so interesting about this palette is even though it looks like they're all just kind of put together a bunch of different shades, it's actually like coordinated that like over here is kind of neutral shades and peach shades. Over here is some blue shades and green shades. Down here is kind of like your smoky eye colors, and over here are some like pinky, champagne, rose gold, and purple. So I actually kind of like that. I don't know if it was meant to be like that or not. I'm sure it was, but I did kind of notice that as I was playing along how each kind of corner coordinated together and just looked like you could create a ton of looks together using, you know, those matte shades and those shimmer shades. So I thought that was really interesting about the palette. Now I will say I've tried this without primer, with primer, and with glitter glue, and the absolute best way to use this palette is with glitter glue. If you're not going to use a primer at all, these shades are going to last maybe 3 hours, and then they're kind of just going to start to crease and disappear, and by the end of the day they will not even last a whole day, like a whole day at work or school. They will be gone. So if anything, if you get this palette, I would definitely suggest you absolutely have to use an eyeshadow primer or a concealer or something as a primer to your eye, and then I would go in with like a very basic matte shade, something like this, to set that, and then I would go in with your eye look to make it last a lot longer. But the best way, especially with these foiled kind of shimmery shades and the marble shades, the best way to make them look amazing and last all day is with the glitter glue. And so my favorite one to use with this palette is the Too Faced glitter glue. I will show you 1 or 2 swatches using the glitter glue so you guys can see the difference that it makes. But I will say the matte shades in here are not my absolute favorite. They're definitely not super duper powdery and like the worst formula ever or anything like that. But I do find that no matter what primer I use, they did not last the whole day like I would expect them to with a higher end brand. However, since this is technically a drugstore brand and only a $15 palette, I did think they performed pretty well with a primer, but I think the ones, you know, the stars in the palette are definitely the shimmer and the marble shades, and the mattes are just okay. But even so, you get, I mean, you get a ton of shimmer and marble shades in here, so I still think it's worth it even though the mattes are just okay. Now the marble and the shimmer shades are amazing with the glitter glue, like so foiled and beautiful, and for $15 getting these amazing shades with some glitter glue, like they're stunning. They're absolutely stunning. So I'm not going to swatch all of them in here because it's going to take forever if I swatch all 30 shades, but I will swatch for you guys some of my favorites. So I just want you guys to see what the matte formula looks like. So this is the shade. Now my biggest complaint with this, not the brush because no one cares about brushes half the time in the palette, but my biggest complaint is probably the fact that there's absolutely no names on here. There's no names on the website or anything like that, so I have no idea what these are called. I just kind of have to go by like, oh, I like this kind of like taupey color right here, so that's the one I'm gonna use. So here are 3 of the shades that I have in my hand. I have this shade right here, I have a green shade, and I have this purple shade. So I just want you guys to see the formula and the pigmentation in some of the matte shades. I do think they're pretty pigmented when you put your finger in there, but they don't have quite as much pigmentation once you swatch them. So here are what those matte shades look like swatch. So you can see that they're not like the best matte swatches in the world, but they're not the worst. So as long as you use a primer, they're gonna be pretty decent, but they're not gonna be the best, like I was saying. The stars of the show are definitely the shimmer shades. So let me go ahead and swatch some of these like marbly shades and some shimmer shades that I really liked. So here are what some of those shades look like. Some of them are marble and some are shimmer. You can see they're definitely a lot more pigmented than the matte shades and definitely have more pigmentation and sparkle and just definitely a lot better. So let's go ahead and swatch them. So those are definitely a lot more pigmented than those matte shades, and look how shimmery they are. For a drugstore and for Makeup Revolution, they are pretty darn pigmented and amazing. Now I went in with this shade again and put it on top of a glitter glue, and you can see the huge difference that it makes as far as the how metallic it is and how foiled it is. I mean, it makes a huge difference between here and here. So I definitely think they last a lot longer and they perform a lot better when you use a glitter glue. Stunning when you use a glitter glue. I mean, they're so foiled, like you would not know this is, you know, this came from a $15 palette. And look at the huge difference it makes. Amazing. So now you guys have seen some of the swatches of some of my favorite metallic shades. Definitely the marble shades are really cool because you get multiple colors in there and it creates kind of a custom shimmer shade. Like this one down here is, you know, white, cream, and brown. And so you get a really cool kind of champagne color mixed together. You've got blue and gold over here. You've got black and red and cranberry. Like these are so interesting. The marble shades and the shimmer shades are my favorite in here. And you guys could see a huge difference that it makes using a shadow primer or a glitter glue. Like stunning difference. They're incredible. I really enjoy these when you use that. If you use some kind of glitter glue with it or a setting spray or anything to make it that foiled metallic shade, it will last all day and it will not crease. I mean, these lasted like 8+ hours when I wore them with that kind of a primer. So overall, I think the palette is totally worth it to buy. If you can find it in stores, I would definitely get it. I still was happy that I paid the extra cost to get it from online from the UK, and I'm really happy with it and impressed. I think the packaging is much cuter than most of the Makeup Revolution stuff that's in the stores, and I think some of these shades in here are incredible, and you can create some really fun metallic foiled looks with this as long as you use the right primer. I can't say that enough. If you use the right primer, it makes all the world of a difference with this palette, but overall I'm really impressed. Like I said, the matte shades are not the best in the world, but you can make them work for like what you're looking for, because if you're going for a very foiled metallic look on the lid, you only need just a little bit of these colors in the crease anyways. But I love them. There's so many fun, beautiful colors in here. So overall, I'm super happy and impressed with this palette for the price and for the fact that it's drugstore and the packaging and the color range you get in here, 30 shades. It's amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review and some swatches of the Makeup Revolution Fortune Favors the Brave palette. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos. And let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this palette. If you've seen it in stores, definitely let me know so that we can let everyone watching this video know. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think about the colors and the shades and, you know, the pigmentation, everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!